everybody. It is me, Margaret, and Tucker. Say hello.
Hello.
We're on our way to our Sunday school party, and a thought just occurred to me as I was reading comments this morning. One is that I wanted to also share my sugar-free hot chocolate recipe, and someone mentioned it just the other day, and I thought, oh, that will be this week's, or I guess I'm doing this more than once a week, aren't I? This will be my next Vlogmas episode will include that recipe, so I'll cut to that now. This is another quick reference recipe that I keep taped to the inside of the cabinet door, and I don't think I have any misspelled words like I did with the last one. But it was very kind of you sweet people to always overlook my mishaps. As usual, check the description box if you want to copy and paste. So I moved my recipe over here so I could just throw everything in the blender. That's the best way to get everything all beat up and blended, right? Now I want to use as few utensils as possible. So what I often do is start with the lightest ingredients. This is the milk. I need a half cup. And actually I'll be using this half cup measure a lot. So I'm starting with this, then I'm going to move over here to the Stevia because it is white. It's over here. Now, whatever brand you choose for your Stevia, I mean, I don't use any other kind of sweetener. I like things that are natural, and the other ones are proven to be bad and are carcinogens. But anyhow, I can measure this on a 1-to-1 ratio with sugar. So I'll be measuring 1.5 cups of this. If the kind that you're using is like baking stevia or something like that, then you need to cut that recipe down to a half cup. But this one happens to measure to a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, so then I want a half cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. I'm just going to stick it right in there and get about a half cup there. I was a little shy, so I'll add some more. And then I'm going to move on to the teaspoons. Need 1 teaspoon of salt, and this is salt, and 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. Now, organic cornstarch is better because they're not using genetically modified corn, but I don't have any. I have cheap stuff. But with only 1 teaspoon, I'm going to use a very small amount in each cup. So that's all that I put in here, and now I'm going to grind it all up. I'm doing this in the blender to grind all the ingredients into a very fine powder. I have granulated salt in there, and it's especially important if you're using granulated sugar. The recipe calls for 8 ounces of hot milk. You can use hot water because you use the dried milk in here. It just won't be as rich. I always use milk, even cream sometimes. And 3 tablespoons of this mixture. But I don't really like just the stevia. I have never really liked just the stevia. So what I do is I find another brand of mix that I like a lot that also doesn't have all those yucky chemicals in it. So no hydrogenated anything. And that doesn't have to be that expensive either. This, for example, is Private Selection from Kroger. And this one is Target's brand, Archer Farms, if you're familiar with that. I even got this one on a clearance. So here's how I do it though. Instead of putting 3 tablespoons of this, I put 2 tablespoons of this and then 1 of regular. And just that little bit of sugar seems to just make it all taste like regular sugar to me, and I'm happy as a lark, but I've cut my sugar consumption down considerably, down to 1/3 of what it normally would have been. So Tucker, tell us, when did your family put up a tree?
We usually put it up the week after Thanksgiving. We didn't do it the Friday after Thanksgiving. Sometime after that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think that was a thing. Back when we were a kid, we just didn't do it that early.
Everybody celebrated Thanksgiving. They don't celebrate Thanksgiving anymore.
Well,
Christmas is already past by the time we get to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's pretty true. We kind of pretend it doesn't exist anymore. But did you help decorate?
Sure.
You did?
Yeah, as a kid.
Well, why don't you help us now?
I had fun back as a kid.
He did. He put out the nativity. Remember, I showed y'all that in the last Vlogmas. You know, in that same vein, when I I told you I like Turner Classic Movies a lot, and on those old movies, everybody didn't put their tree up until, say, Christmas Eve. It would be like that week right before Christmas. And I think that's so unusual that we've kind of slowly edged closer and closer to Thanksgiving. Even our neighbors started decorating their house before Thanksgiving. So times and customs change, I guess. Yeah, we were just discussing that. The reason why that you would put your tree up so late is because of the 12 days of Christmas, which is actually the 12 days after Christmas. The Epiphany, January 6th, is considered the last day of the Christmas season. So that's when the 3 wise men supposedly made it to baby Jesus and brought the gifts. But, you know, we don't know any of that, but that's the way it's celebrated. And I remember vividly that we left our Christmas tree up until the 6th because that was just the way we did it. And also the church decorations were left up until after the Epiphany. So I thought, well, that's interesting. But anyway, there you go. Tucker, when do you make us take our decorations down?
Before New Year's.
Yep, before New Year's. If we're late after New Year's. So, okay. So we're back at the car. Bentley has been losing his hearing, and I think it's just because he's older. Oh, by the way, I found my attachment, so I've got the microphone on, so I'm hoping that it won't be as much noise, car noise. So anyway, we're going to the vet on this really yucky day to see what's going on with him. Not just the hearing, that's not what bothers me. Last night he was drinking some water, and all of a sudden I heard ka-thunk, and I turned around and he had fallen down. He's not that old, so it kind of is worrying me. So we're going to go check it out and see what's going on. See, he sits beside me, and he usually likes to hang his head out the window when we stop or slow down, but today it is cold and rainy. Well, there's that good boy. And according to the vet, she doesn't see anything we need to worry about at this moment. She thinks it's just old age, nerve twinge, something like that. She wanted me to watch him closely, and Tucker is out of town at the moment, so it's just the two of us and the cats. I went to visit Maggie a couple of weekends ago, and we ate at a healthy food restaurant where you could actually order bone broth as a drink, but I did not. We shopped at the neatest outdoor market where I saw these adorable hats, which are machine knit flat and seamed up the back in case you're wondering. And we went to the Nutcracker with her roommate and her mom and saw beautiful decorations, and later went to the symphony and sat in the nosebleed section, and it didn't matter one bit. It was glorious. Can you hear it sizzling? Tucker's mom sends us this every year for Christmas, and I look forward to it. I just love this stuff. Da-da-da! Oh, and the pears. They always come a little bit green. Well, of course, pears are green, but they always come a little bit not ripe, and so I have to leave them out, but boy, they're delicious. So we've talked about cafe latte and hot chocolate and cookies. Why don't we talk about something non-sweet? This is a famous crock-pot recipe that I've used for years but modified to get rid of some of the chemicals. I think I'll save this for next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.